all the stars, they faded, 'cause they don't wanna. Okay, so today I'm going to do a look on my sister, who volunteered sort of to be my model. I'm going to do a look using the Urban Decay Electric Palette. If I can open it. Alright, and that's that there. It comes with a little brush inside of it, but I'm not going to use the brush. Yeah, the most important thing is to start with a clean face. So she just cleaned her face and moisturized not too long ago. The first thing I'm going to start with is the eyes, because we're using bright colors. You definitely want to start with the eyes first. That way if anything falls down on her cheeks, she can just clean it up and it won't get all up in her foundation. Oh wait, hold on. I have to prime her eyes. Can you put something on your hair so that it's not in your face? Okay, so now that we've adjusted the lights and she's got her lovely Hello Kitty headband on.
What's wrong with Hello Kitty?
I'm going to go ahead and prime her eyes. I'm just going to use the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. Is that in the viewfinder? Eyeshadow, Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base.
Box.
I'm just going to put some on both of her eyes. Blend it in. I'm going to go all the way up to the eyebrow, just in case I put any eyeshadows or anything up there. I want to keep those in place as well. I definitely recommend using a primer no matter what. Even if your eyeshadows don't ever crease or anything on you, you're going to want to use a primer with this palette just because it's so bright and pigmented. It has a tendency to stain eyelids. So the more layers you've got between your skin and this, the better. What I'm going to do is put this crease color in. I'm just going to start with a nice light wash. This is a nice light peachy orange color. It's by Makeup Geek. And the color is called Peach Smoothie. Focus. There we go. Peach Smoothie. And I'm just using this nice fluffy blending brush by Sigma. It's the E40. I'm just getting that in the crease, but I'm not being too precise with it just because this is something that the rest of the colors are going to kind of blend over. Alright. Next I'm going to go in with another Makeup Geek color. This one's called Crème Brulee. Nice light brown kind of color with a little bit of peach in it. Hold it to the light so you'll see it. And I'm going to take a little bit more of a precise brush. Sigma brush. It's the E45. It's the tapered blending brush. And it's just a little bit more precise so it can really get there and give some definition in the crease. I'm just going all the way from inner corner to outer corner. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the other brush that I just used, which was the E40, and just blend it so it's a nice, smooth application. Alright. Now for the fun stuff. I'm going to start going into the Urban Decay Electric Palette. I'm going to start with the color Revolt, which is that silver color up in the top left corner. And I'm just going to take a flat shader brush. It's the large shader brush by Sigma. It's the E60. Just going to go in and put this all over the eyelid. Now, as you can tell, it's a little bit sheer at first. I don't really want to build this up right now because I'm just going to put more shadows over top of it. But once I'm done with that, if I want to add a little more sparkle, say in the inner corner or something, I can go in and get the brush wet either with some eye drops or some MAC Fix Plus. I wouldn't recommend water just because it kind of changes the texture of your eyeshadows. So as you can see, she's getting tons of like fallout. Maybe you can't see it, but she's getting tons of silver fallout all over her cheeks, which is why we do the eyeshadow first with bright looks. So I'm Like I said, just really getting the silver onto the base of her eyelid, which will just give the other colors I'm going to use a little bit of shimmer. As you can, and sometimes it's just fun to work with some colors, a little bit something different than your everyday neutrals. Alright, so the next color I'm going to go in with is this color Thrash, which is kind of like that nice bright lime green in the bottom there. It's very, very bright. I'm trying to cover up her face so that the camera will see that that's not what I'm trying to show you. Alright, I'm just going to put this on the inner third of her eye. I want the brighter color to be towards the inner corner, just so that it kind of opens up her eye and makes them look bigger. A lot of times when you're using brighter and darker colors, it can close up the eye, and that's not what you want to do. Alright, the next color I'm going to go into is this color Fringe, which is that nice pretty turquoise color up in the top. And this color is just absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorite ones from this palette. But a lot of times with these bright blues, they can be very hard to work with. So she's going to get a lot of fallout on this one. If you wanted to prevent some of the fallout, you know, make your cleanup job a little bit easier, you could hold a tissue underneath your eye while you're doing this. I just don't want to hide too much of what's going on. You can definitely see she's getting lots of pigment falling onto her cheeks. That happens a lot with brighter colors. Alright, you don't have to be too precise with it. You also don't have to blend too much right now, just because I'm going to go in later and do some of the blending. Right now I just kind of want to get the framework of the colors that are going down. So this is just going to be the center of the lid. It's not going all the way to the corner, because I'm going to put another color there. I love these greens and blues on her skin tone. I think that they just make it look so beautiful and very tropical. But don't be afraid of these colors if you're darker skin tone or lighter skin tone than her. It's a lot of fun to just kind of play with your makeup. Use bright colors that you might not use all the time. Alright, so for the final color for her top eyelid there, I'm going to go in with that nice bright blue here called Gonzo, which was right next to the silver color. And I'm just putting that on the outer corner. This one has even more fallout because it's a finer pigment. So just putting that there. And then I can start blending a little bit. So at first I'm just going to take this same brush and I'm just going to kind of go between colors. I'm just going to go on the edge there with a little bit of the Gonzo and then a little bit of the Fringe, and work that together so it has a nice smooth transition between the two colors. Now I'm not really happy with the level of intensity that I'm getting from Fringe, so I'm going to go ahead and spray some Fix Plus on my brush and dip the side that I haven't used yet so that it can be just strictly that color, and I'm going to dip it in Fringe and just tap it right there in the center with a little bit of the wet product, and that'll build up some color. Now I'm going to take my big fluffy brush and kind of blend the green and the blue there. That one's not going to have as smooth of a transition because the colors are so different, but I kind of like that pop there. I'm just going to take a little bit more of that Thrash on that brush. So I'm going to go back into my Makeup Geek shadows and take that same Crème Brulee color just so that I can blend those colors up a little bit on the eye. And using this transition color as opposed to one of the bright colors is just going to make it so much easier to blend the colors. So like I said before, they're pure pressed pigments, so they don't blend as easily as an actual eyeshadow. I'm just going to use these ones. They're called Say Yes to Cucumbers facial towelettes. They're hypoallergenic and they're super gentle, and they're also a little bit cooling, so they feel really nice. Now if you just look up, I promise I won't stab you in the eye. You're just going to want to sweep all that color off there. So now it's a little bit better looking. You can see it's still very bright and intense, but that's kind of the look we're going for. The next thing I'm going to go in with is some foundation. From here on out with the eyeshadows, you're going to want to be very careful because it will get everywhere, and then you'll have to wipe off your foundation and your concealer and put it back on, and it'll just be a huge ordeal, and you're going to be wasting products. So just be very, very, very careful with these eyeshadows. Okay, so first we're going to go in with her foundation. Just going to go ahead and pull it out for me. It is the NARS Sheer Glow. If it'll focus. There it goes. NARS Sheer Glow in the color Barcelona. I think so. You gotta hold it still or it's not gonna get it. There it goes. Barcelona. So next I'm gonna prime her face. I'm gonna prime her face with the Too Faced Prime and Poreless Pure. You can see that right there is it on my hand. You might be able to see she's still got a little bit of remnants of this eyeshadow on here, but it's not enough where it's gonna change the color of her foundation. Really want to get that in the areas that you have uneven skin or pores. So now that you're all done with that, you're going to take a nice foundation brush, whatever kind you want to use. I'm going to use the Sigma F80, which is a flat top kabuki brush. And I'm just going to dot the foundation on using the brush. And then I'm going to start blending that in. It's always good to start blending it in when you have a little bit on there, and you can always add more later. You don't want to have too much foundation and it starts to look cakey. It's not cute. So let's go ahead and blend that all in. I spend a lot of time working my foundation in, especially if you have uneven skin or maybe your foundation's a little dark or a little light. You really want to work that into the skin so it provides a more natural finish. But it's alright because we're going to do some highlighting and that'll make her face return to a more consistent color with her neck. I'm going to use the NARS concealer. Go away. The NARS concealer. It's the Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Custard. I think that's how you put it. Yep. So, just going to dot this under her eyes. To blend it in all the way, I'm going to use the Sigma Tapered Kabuki brush. It's the F86. And it's just shaped like that. Now I'm going to set her under eye concealer. I'm going to use a combination of the Anastasia Contour Kit color in Banana, which is the middle yellow shade. And then I'm actually going to use a little bit of her setting powder. It's the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. And to set the under eye concealer, I'm going to use the tapered face brush. It's the F25 by Sigma. It's just shaped like this. It's the same kind of shape as the tapered kabuki, except for it's not a kabuki brush. It's a much fluffier brush. So just combine the two powders and then very lightly press on top. Get any excess off. Just kind of sweep it off. I'm going to wait to highlight and bronze and everything until after I'm all done with the rest of her eye makeup, just in case I have to wipe anything off, which I shouldn't have to. I'm going to go get a tissue. She's going to have to turn towards me a little bit so I can see her left eye a little bit better. But I'll show you on camera the right eye. So I'm just going to hold that there. I'm done with this eye's under eyeshadow. I'm going to do the other eye. I'm just going to have her hold the paper up there just so I can hold both my brushes in my hand so I can transfer between colors easily. And then I'm going to take the color right next to it, which is this gorgeous, like, multicolored pink and purple. Right down there at the bottom. It's Jilted. It's got like this really cool fluorescent pink and purple glitter going on in it. I'm going to take it on a pencil brush, which is the E30 brush by Sigma. It's just shaped like that. It's kind of like a blending brush, but smaller. We're all done with all the bright shadows, so I'm just going to go back in with that silver color. Now I'm going to go ahead and just take it on the same pencil brush, and I'm just going to spray a little bit of my Fix Plus on it and get like a nice metallic pop on the inner corner. So now we're going to go in with some gel eyeliner. I'm not going to do a wing or anything because this look is already so dramatic. I don't really want to add any more to it. And that's not really the shape I'm going for with her eyes anyway. So I'm going to use this angled brush. It's the small angled brush by Sigma. It's E65 brush. I'm using the Bobbi Brown eyeliner. If I can find the right color over here. In black ink. It's just a gel eyeliner, but it's really long lasting and it doesn't smudge. Especially with hooded eyes like Courtney's are, you don't want to put anything on your top lid that's going to smudge because otherwise it's just going to end up being a huge mess. So just taking a little bit on the tip of the brush and then wiping off any excess on the side of the jar. I'll make sure that I have just enough to put on her eyelids. Now that we've got the eyeliner on the top lid, I'm going to go ahead and just apply some false lashes. These are the 105s in black by Ardell. These are some of my favorite lashes just because they're nice, long, and dramatic. I'm going to use the Duo Glue. If you have an allergy, if you've got a latex allergy, I wouldn't use this eyelash glue because it has some in it. Alright, so just take a little bead of glue and run it along the lash line there. And then you're just going to want to let it sit for quite a good time because otherwise it's just going to be wet and the corners will just keep on popping up and you won't be able to apply them, and then you'll get glue all over your eyelid and you'll ruin all the nice work that you did for your eyeshadow. Okay, so just drop it on the lash line. Don't worry too much about the placement right now, just make sure it's really nice and close to the lash line there. And then use your tweezers to just grab onto the end there and fit it to the outside corner. If it's not far enough over, just drag it. And then take the same thing with the inside corner and just stick it in there. Make sure it's nice and close to your lash line. You can use the bottom end of your tweezers to just kind of press it on there. So just go ahead and do the same thing with the other eye. False eyelashes are a bit of an adjustment as far as being able to see. Go back in with your eyeliner brush and just take a little bit of gel eyeliner right on the base of that false eyeline. Make sure you do this after the glue is dried though. Otherwise, you're just going to tear your eyelashes. Black. Lovely. Now to give a little definition to the lower lash line, just going to add a little bit of black eyeliner. I'm going to let her do that herself just because I know a lot of people are very uncomfortable with other people sticking things near their eyeballs. Okay. To blend her lashes in with her false lashes, to blend her natural lashes in with her false lashes, I'm going to go ahead and just put a little mascara right at the base of the lash. Real mascara. It's just my kind of like go-to nice dark black mascara. For the bottom lashes, I'm going to use this little guy right here. It doesn't have a name on the side of it, but it's the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara. Okay, just look up and it'll be fine. You won't even have to see the brush. So I'm just giving her bottom lashes a little bit of definition. Now, if you're like Courtney and you have a little bit of an issue with creasing of your under eye mascara or bleeding or anything like that, you can take a little bit of powder, just like some black eyeshadow powder. I'm going to use this one, which is the Makeup Geek one. It's super black. It's called Corrupt. Zoom in. I'm just going to pat it on her lower lash line, being very super careful not to get it in her eyeball. That'll just set it in place. Alright, now I'm just going to do some highlighting and contouring. I am very excited that I have this brush. This is the NARS Eater brush. I'm going to use this to contour. As you can see, it's kind of like nice and flat and like a, I don't know, it's just kind of like a flat little rectangle brush. And I'm going to use that to contour with her bronzer, whatever that is. Chocolate Soleil. This is the medium deep shade. Just going to get a little on the brush and suck in your cheeks. Why are you closing your eyes? Starting on the outside and just going to the corner of the brow is about where you want to stop with your contour. Otherwise, it starts to look a little unnatural and weird. So, this is the best way to find the contours of your cheeks if you've got fuller cheeks. If you've already got pretty prominent cheekbones, like Courtney and I do, you don't have to do this face. Just blend it out. Then take a little up towards the hairline. Courtney's got a relatively small forehead, so I'm just going to keep it mostly to the sides. A little bit along the hairline up there, but mostly on the temples. Under the jaw. Under the lip. It makes it look a little bit fuller. And then along the sides of the nose. She doesn't really need a whole lot, so I'm just giving it a little bit of definition, so if she does take any pictures with some flash or something, it doesn't look like she has just a monotone face. It gives her some definition in pictures. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of blush. I'm going to use this nice big duo fiber brush by Sigma. It's the F50. I'm going to use Makeup Geek blush. I'm going to use a kind of more neutral color palette. I'm actually going to use two different colors. I'm going to use this kind of lighter pink color called Head Over Heels. Head Over Heels. Come on. And then I'm going to use this orangier color. Oh, sorry, I should have brushed you. Head Over Heels. And then I gotta use this orangier color called Bliss. It's nice light orange. I don't want to go anything too strong or colorful on the cheeks, just because of how colorful everything else is. So I'm just tapping a little in both pans and then sweeping from the back of the cheek to the front. It'll give zoom you in so you can see. It doesn't look a lot different. It's not very heavy. Just to give her a little bit of color to the face. Balance out those really strong eyes. Again, I'm not going to go very strong. I'm just going to use this I'm going to use this Becca product. Here's the outside. This is in the shade Opal. And it just looks like this on the inside. It's really pretty, kind of like goldy bronze, kind of shimmery. But it's not too strong if you use a light hand with it. So I'm just going to tap the brush into it, tap off the excess, and then use it on her cheek. So like I said, I don't want anything too strong. I just want to give her a little bit of balance out from the highlight, from the, not from the highlight, but from the eyeshadow. And then this will catch really nicely in pictures and just make her look like she's glowy. She has very strong eyebrows. She's going to use this Dip Brow Pomade by Anastasia in the color Ebony. She has very dark hair and very dark eyebrows, so that's the back. Just using this little Anastasia brush. It's the number 12, in case you were wondering. See if you can. It's not dry, so this might be the end of the tutorial. JK. Okay, so to do brow defining, can you turn your head towards me so I can see? To do brow defining, you're going to start with a stronger line on the underneath, and then brush upward through the brow. This just gives you a more natural look. Make sure it doesn't look too strong and drawn on. Just brush through them to give them a more natural looking texture, and it's good. You can't really tell the difference between her brows. It just gives it a little extra color in there. especially if you have any sparse spots, or if you've got thinner brows like I do, or if one of your brows isn't quite the same length or shape or thickness, you can even them out pretty easily with this stuff and it'll look pretty natural. So just brush it up through the brow. This one's a little bit thinner than her other eyebrow, so it's more this one. And it's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to add a little bit of a tail length to it. Alright. You just make sure they're even. The last thing you really have to worry about is putting on a little bit of lipstick. You can go any color with this. If you want to go bright and bright, that is up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and go with a nude color for her. So I picked this out for her today. It's the color Cathedral. It's the same Kat Von D studded lipstick. It's just a nice kind of nudie brown color, which looks really nice with the complexion. So I'm going to go ahead and let her put that on. You can put a lip gloss over this as well if you wanted to add a little bit of shine. But yeah, that's the completed look. As you can see, very dramatic, not for everyday wear, but a lot of fun for parties and going out. So I hope you liked it. And that's it. Bye. No, I was just thinking, yes, blow. Blow on my eye.